Yay. Now we're recording. All right, so I did put the playlist in the chat. If you have Spotify and you need some tunes, they're not necessary, but if you like to flow that way. Today we're piggybacking on class from 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks feels like forever now, but so it might be a little rusty. But we'll be adding on some elephant trunk into 8-angle pose. So if you're relatively new at arm balancing and you want to use 2 blocks, totally cool. We'll get to that point soon. But maybe 1 block through our flow today, we'll be doing a hovering low lunge, revolve low lunge. You can put your fingers to a block, and we'll talk about that too when we get there. So super excited to have you on this kind of gross day, but yoga usually makes it better, right? And for those of you who've ever joined one of my classes, just I have this iPad here so I can kind of check in and hopefully see what you're doing or how you're doing. And just if you ever want to put yourself off video, I do not mind. It's just for me to kind of have a more real feel class. It just makes me happy anyway. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start my playlist in 3, 2, and 1. And we'll get started in seated Baddha Konasana today. So go ahead and draw the soles of your feet together. And if you're anything like me today, your knees are going to be way up, and that's okay if they are. If it's causing you any pain, go ahead and walk your feet a little further away from you. Try to get yourself really high on the sit bones, and you might want to rock yourself slightly forward so you can feel yourself on the front part of those bones. And then you can take your hands to your shins. You can put your forearms on your knees. But wherever you are, go ahead and close your eyes just for a moment. Bring a big breath in from the pelvic bowl all the way through the crown of the head. Allow your head to lift over through the shoulders. And find an open mouth exhale. Press your navel to your spine to expel all of the air. 2 more times like that. Breathe in deeply. Exhale fully. Last one on your own. Take your time. Allow this to be even deeper. There you go. Flutter your eyes open. If you now feel like you have a little more space to the inner thighs to walk your feet a little closer to you, you can feel free to stay in first part. If you'd like to apply just a little bit of pressure from elbow to inner thigh, make sure we're not rounding forward if we do add that option. Just lightly press your heart forward and your knees heavy into your inner thighs. Press your heart through your shoulders, roll your shoulders down your back. All right, and then from here, go ahead and stack your spine once more. Don't worry about the legs. And take your right ear to your right shoulder. If you need a little more from that, the right fingertips come over the left ear, and it's just a gentle weight added, not a crunch down, just a gentle nudge from the right ear to the right shoulder. And gently release, draw your head back up. And then left ear, left shoulder. Remember, you have the add-on to deepen. Right fingers on your right ear. Just opening through the right side of the neck, right SCM muscle, maybe even a little bit of the trap on the right if you feel that. Okay. Come back to center. Cross your ankles, roll into your tabletop. So hands over your shoulders, under your shoulders, knees under your hips. And use this first moment to just move authentically, move creatively and originally. So close your eyes and maybe allow the hips to roll in a circle one direction and then the other direction. Again, whatever you need, so you take that time. Right shoulder, right hip, left shoulder, left hip. And then come back to neutral tabletop. Try to squeeze your hip tips towards one another, hug your inner thighs together, and slightly protract the shoulders. So punch away from the earth and hollow out through the armpit. Inhale, cow pose. Drop the belly, lift your gaze, pause and breathe. Squeeze your hands towards your knees towards your hands, and if you want a little bit more, press the tops of your feet into the ground and feel your abs light up. Exhale, cat pose. Lengthen your tailbone towards your knees, draw your chin towards your chest, and then punch the ground away just a little more, finding space between the shoulder blades. Inhale, cow pose. Flare through the sit bones, widen through the collarbones. Exhale, cat pose. Press the ground away. One more time, your breath, your movement. Roll the shoulders together behind your heart. And then draw it back in. Squeeze inner thighs together. Come back to a neutral tabletop. We'll take a little different variation of cat and cow today. Walk your hands over to the right. So your left hand will be in line with your right knee, and your right hand will be a little bit outside of your right leg. We'll find gentle cat-cows with a little bit of a side body stretch here. So go ahead, exhale, cat, press the ground away. Maybe roll your left shoulder over to the right side of the room and feel your right lat muscle open up. Inhale, cow pose, arch and look high. Just one more like that. Exhale, cat pose on an angle. Inhale, cow pose on an angle. Neutralize the spine before walking your hands back to center, and then take it to the other side. Right hand in line with left knee this time. Left hand outside, shoulder width distance apart. Exhale, cat pose, press. Maybe roll the right shoulder open a little bit more. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale for cat. Hug up through the belly. And inhale for cow. Nice, very important. Neutralize the spine first. Walk your hands back to center, and just one round of cat-cow here. Inhale, cow pose. Squeeze the ground under you together. Exhale, cat pose. Press the tops of your feet into the ground and light up the deep core. Inhale, cow pose. Curl your toes under. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hover the knees for a moment and then glide it up and back. Nice, Sarah. Nice, Jessica. And pedal out your first down dog. Let it be a lot or a little, or maybe you come into this down dog and you're like, yep, nailed it. Maybe not. That's okay too. But for these first couple down dogs, I love to bend my knees. Press down through the knuckles of the hands, the finger pads. Roll your shoulders together and then towards your tailbone. And then once you settle in, think about lengthening through the inner thighs and then rolling them behind you. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, ragdoll top of your mat. A bunch of little steps will allow you to travel feet towards your hands. And feel free to bend your knees a lot to make that happen. Bend your knees so much that you find space in your low back. Allow the crown of your head to be heavy, acting like your head's a bowling ball, allowing for space between the vertebrae, and find your natural movement. If you'd like an arm balance, arm variation, go ahead and find that. Hey, Tara Bear, would you mind muting that for me?
Real sorry about that.
Thank you. I was like, wait, what is that? I thought a dog got in here. I was like, oh no. All right, release your hands to the earth if they've left. Heel toe your feet together, or your feet can stay hips width distance apart. But if your feet are together, there's a little space between the heels. Bend your knees a lot, draw your chin to your chest, and inhale, rise to stand, unrolling the spine one notch at a time. Shoulders come up to your ears, together and down your back. And find 2 more circles like that. Shoulders crunch up into your ears, and then pull them behind your heart and down. One more time, make it really exaggerative, right? Like we're, and then relax, together and down. Ladies, go ahead and take your hands to heart center. You can close your eyes. You can gaze at your index fingers if that's more comfortable. Press your hands energetically together at heart center so your heart lifts into your thumbs, and dedicate this practice to whatever you need from this. Maybe it's dedication to somebody else. Maybe it's yourself. I've been watching too much news lately. I've been avoiding it, but lately I've been watching it. And what resonated with me is, if you can be anything in this world, be kind. Okay? Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. We're not perfect, but make it a daily practice if you can. Whatever intention you want to set, we'll breathe communal life into it, our prana forces. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale that thought, that idea, your intention. And on your exhale, devote it to whoever needs it. This one's for you ladies. Inhale through your nose, love and light for yourself. Exhale, love and light for all. Inhale, mountain pose, reach your fingertips high, lift your eyelids, and find your steady stance and your breath. So instead of overarching in the low spine, try to anchor your tailbone towards your heels, and you can do that by shortening the distance from your rib tip to your hip tip. So think about shortening on the front, not a crunch, but a definite zip up and pull in. And then squeeze your shoulder blades together and down your back as you lift your head and hands higher away from the earth. Interlace your hands over your head, and then press your palms to the sky. Keep your shoulders down. Inhale, lengthen. You can look up if you'd like. Exhale, half moon variation up and over to the right. Find your breath. I'll turn back to the front. Make sure your right armpit is cycling forward and your right hip, that's it, is cycling back for a nice straight line. And if you're ever in question, if you're a little cockeyed, go ahead and peek down at the knife edge of your right foot. Might give you an idea where you need to adjust. Inhale, come back to center. Leave your hands as they are. Exhale, half moon variation up and over to the left and breathe. Feel the stretch through both side bodies as you squeeze shoulder blades behind your heart and press your right hip forward. Inhale back to center. Release your hands without slingshotting. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees and ride the breath down. Inhale, halfway lift and pause. A couple variations for your halfway lift. Your fingers can stay to the ground. You can come to your fingertips. You can bend your knees, hands to your shins or to your quads. The rule of thumb is if you're rounding through your back in your halfway lift, go ahead and lift your hands a little higher. That's okay. And if you want this to be more about spine strengthening, happily put your hands onto your quads and press your heart forward, finding a little bit of a cow spine, and then parallel your heart to the ground. Beautiful, Kelly. Take a breath in. Nice, Susan. Exhale, high plank. Step your right foot back first, and then your left foot, and breathe here. Be kind to yourself. Maybe you start to shake or the heat begins to build dramatically. Breathe in that kindness for yourself. It's okay. You're getting stronger. Hug your inner thighs together. Lengthen your tailbone towards your heels and protract the shoulders. Inhale, hinge forward to your tippy toes, shoulders past the fingers. Exhale, bend your elbows 90 degrees or less, coming all the way down as slow as you can in 4 and 3, all the way to the belly, 2 and 1. Uncurl your toes, toenails to the earth, zip up the inner thighs best you can. Inhale, baby cobra. Lengthen the crown of your head forward and then lift the back of your heart. Hug your elbows together and breathe. Press your toenails into the earth so much your kneecaps lift and press your hips down to further lengthen through the low spine. I lost my earphone. One more breath in. Exhale, chin down. Inhale, high plank or all fours. All fours, totally great. Elbows hug the rib cage. Exhale, downward facing dog. A little light pedal here if that suits you, or settle in. Inhale, look forward between your thumbs. Exhale, forward fold. Right foot steps forward. Left foot steps forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Your variation. Feel free to mix it up too. Exhale, release for fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Sweep your arms high overhead. Interlace your fingers opposite direction, awkward grip, and then palm to the sky. Exhale, half moon variation to the right. Hug your outer hips in. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, up and over to the left armpit cycles forward. Inhale, center, release your hands slightly. Exhale, forward fold, hands through heart center. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, low lunge, left leg back. Inhale, high plank, right leg back, and breathe. Good. Hug your outer hips together. Get stronger through the lower body. Inhale, hinge forward to the tippy toes. Exhale, bend your elbows. Hold for 4. Option to come down to the knees for 3. Squeeze your elbows in 2, all the way down to the ground, and 1. Wide leg cobra. Toes to the outside edges of your mat, toenails. Press them down into the ground. Energize through the entire leg. Inhale, lengthen crown of head forward, and then the lift on the second part of the exhale, and breathe. If you ever want to work a little more into the low back, you're welcome to lift your hands off the ground, but make sure you're still working through the erectors rather than just dumping down. Inhale, shoulders back. Exhale, chin to the earth, feet back, hips width distance apart. Inhale, high plank or all fours, press it up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Really nice, Jessica. Pedal, pedal. All right. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, top of your mat. Right foot first, left foot first. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Sweep it up. Interlace the hands. Your choice. Palms to the sky. Exhale, half moon right. Inhale, center. Exhale, half moon left. Inhale to center. Hands to prayer. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high to low plank. Plant your hands, step back. You can vinyasa through, elbows into the rib cage if you lower. Inhale, upward facing dog. You can stay in your high plank or you can keep the cobra going. Exhale, downward facing dog. Remember, every single chaturanga is an option. If you ever feel fatigued, your shoulders start to feel like they cannot support the elbows to the rib cage, please, please, please modify, all right? Inhale, look forward. Exhale, forward fold, however you want to get there. You can even hop or float if you'd like, up to you. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Bend your knees, reach tall, commit to your breath here. Be kind to yourself here, right? We get hot, we start to shake, and we go, oh. Maybe we're not, it's not us we're not kind to, maybe it's the teacher we're not kind to. That's definitely a me thing. But what I'd like you to do is just tap deeper into your breath, into your intention. Use this energy that's being created in the body and send it to that direction that you chose. Inhale, hug your inner thighs together. Exhale, airplane your arms, send them back, breathe. Maybe you sit a little lower, yeah? Maybe you're like, I don't love this in my low back, so you take your feet hips width distance apart. That's okay. You choose, it's your pose. Nice, Han. Lift your hands a little higher, squeeze your pinkies together, activate your arms. And then yes, ladies, maybe lift your heels. I know it's early for drinking bird, it's not right. You can keep your feet down if you'd like. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, airplane arms, option for your bird. If you're in bird, still a little low or if your knees are healthy. One more, inhale, chair. Exhale, airplane, drinking bird. How low can you go if it feels good? Inhale, chair pose. Whew. Exhale, forward fold, nice and slow. Don't rush to exit this posture as much as you may want. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high to low plank chaturanga. If you are floating back, land with your bent elbows, please. Inhale, upward facing dog, high plank or cobra. Lift your knees and up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal it out. Slow down the breath. Remember, kindness for yourself, kindness for others, right? Inhale, look forward. Exhale, top of your mat for fold. If you are stepping forward, be sure to alternate your leading foot, please. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. What? We were right here. I know. Kindness, right? Exhale, airplane arms. Yes, I know. We were right here too. That means we're even stronger this go around, right? Inhale, one leg mountain, left leg lifts. Connect with your breath. So working on one leg balance to strengthen the abductors, the outer hip that moves our leg out, also helps protect the right side of the knee. Make sure your tailbone is directed towards your heel. So not pressed forward, not pressed back. Nice and tall through the spine. Take your left heel forward, lower your left hip down, breathe in. Exhale, figure four. Hands come to heart center, left ankle over right knee. And this is maybe where you stay today. If your left outer hip super tight, you're like, I don't really need to move, that is totally fine. If you do want more, press your hands together for balance and then to begin to bend into your right knee. Now, ladies, take your hands to your hips. Notice if your left hip dipped down when you bent your knee. Can you draw your left hip back up in line with the right? And maybe that means you don't sit as low. And that is okay. We want nice level hips, especially when we have the complexity of this left, like it's a pigeon bend, right? Hands together, that'll help you balance. Now, one more add-on. I want you to think, squeeze left heel towards your right hip. So we're strengthening the inner thigh while opening the left outer hip. We're doing the vice versa on each leg, right? Exhale, if you sit a little lower, all good. If not, all good. Inhale, one leg mountain rise. Exhale, crescent lunge, airplane arms. So squeeze heel to glute, extend the arms, get low in your right knee, and then feather touch the left toes down. And breathe. All right, so that way we move nice and slow, nice and controlled, and we give the right outer hip even more time to get stronger, right? I know that's what we wanted. So imagine a long diagonal line from your left heel through the crown of your head. Dial your low ribs up and in. Inhale, low lunge twist. So it's going to be a hover. So sweep your right arm around and stay lifted. Now, if you're like, what? You can come grab your block. Place it on the inside of your right foot, and then fingertips touch your block, okay? So I still really want you working the core and working both legs, but if you need that little bit of assistance, totally fine, okay? We'll take this out after our second flow. It's not forever, okay? Exhale, warrior two to the left. So sweep it nice and slowly, open and around. Your left foot does the adjusting. Your right foot stays relatively stable, okay? And then bend and straighten. Take that time. Tell your right quad you love it. Tell your right glute you love it, because you do. Practice that kindness here, right? Squeeze your heels together, settle into your warrior. Arms extend, shoulder height, and you glue your fingers together. Roll your shoulders down your back. Exhale, lunge a little deeper, press your right knee out and away to the right. Inhale, reverse warrior, right hand high. Where's your breath, right? I have to ask myself the same thing. It's not a you thing, it's a me thing. Press to the knife edge of your left foot as much as your left big toe mound. Same thing for your right foot. Now adjust your hips so they're nice and level. Inhale into your right lung. Exhale, extended side angle, reach forward, 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 and then arms 6 and 12. Breathe. Roll your left shoulder down your back. Press your right knee open with your right your forearm. And then press your left inner thigh down to the earth. Make sure the left leg works just as hard as the right. Inhale, reverse triangle. Right hand high, right hip tilts up, and then straighten your right leg. If you've been in class, you know if this is not comfortable, another reverse warrior is A-okay. It's up to you. Squeeze your heels together, breathe in. Exhale, low lunge, low lunge. Frame your right foot, swivel onto the left big toe mound. So just for our first flow, we're gonna find a little bit of a hip flexor stretch. So we're in our low lunge now. Go ahead and bend your left knee just a little bit and take your weight back, like you're hovering your left kneecap over the earth. Hello. Exhale, back to low lunge. Inhale, high plank. Exhale is your chaturanga or nataranga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Squeeze your outer cheeks together. Exhale, downward facing dog. Huge breath in. Big breath out. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, forward fold, walk, step, jump, or float. Inhale, halfway lift, your version. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Hug your inner thighs together, reach. Exhale, airplane your arms. Sit low, outer hips, fire them up. Inhale, one leg mountain, right leg, and breathe. Make the balance be in the sole of the base of your foot, the sole of your foot, rather than the toes clenching. Think of it when your toes clench, your jaw clenches, that kind of that analogy. We want a nice loose jaw. We want the structure of the foot to be working. So think big toe mound, pinky toe mound, heel. Squeeze the big toe mound towards your heel to lift the arch of the foot. Activate your right foot. Notice if your right hip jacked up, can you draw it down? And then shoulders together and down your back. Flare your right toes once more. Reactivate, breathe in. Exhale, figure four. Hands heart center, right ankle over left knee. And then remember, you determine the depth, and this side might be a little different. Practice kindness to yourself, your body. It supports you throughout your daily life, so we don't want to say bad things to it because then it believes that's true, right? The mind is super powerful like that. Press your hands together, flare your right toes, hips level, lady. Squeeze your right heel towards your left hip, and then maybe you're like, whoa, it's super tight. That's okay. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale, one leg mountain, slowly rise. Exhale, crescent lunge, airplane arms. Think hamstring curl, squeeze heel to glute, and then extend behind. Bend your left knee, land really lightly. Woo, left outer hip, whoop. Take a moment if you'd like to bend and straighten through your left leg. Right hip presses forward. You're on your right big toe mound. Hug your inner thighs together, and then your heart's on that 45-degree angle when you're ready. Nice, Kelly. Nice, Jessica. Hands back behind you. Squeeze them together. There it is. Inhale, twisted low lunge, revolve slow lunge. Yeah, so that's that hover or your hand to a block. Now what I do is if I'm not properly engaged in this move is my left inner hip begins to pinch. So what I'd like you to do is squeeze into the entire left leg and lift a little higher, make your right leg work just as hard. Good. Exhale, warrior two, slowly spin it around, right foot bends back. And then straighten. Take that time. All right, legs work evenly. So squeeze heels together. Right foot parallel back with that 45-degree tilt. That's up to you. Press down through the heels, the big toe mounds, and the knife edges of your feet. And then take your right shoulder, dial it open a little bit so we're nice and square to the right side of the room. Inhale, reverse warrior, left hand high, find breath. Squeeze your hips together. Hug your inner thighs towards one another, even though you're like, what? Squeeze, get that engagement of the adductors. Left shoulder rolls down, breathe in. Exhale, extended side angle, forward, forward, forward. Kick off the arms, breathe. The right leg likes to take a break here because we're front loaded, right? Press down through the inner thigh, squeeze your right outer glute in, and then maybe look up at your right hand. Inhale, reverse triangle, left hand high, straighten your left leg, and breathe. Remember, reverse warrior, totally an option here. Level hips, lift your left kneecap if you are in reverse triangle. Breathe in. Exhale, low lunge, swivel it down. Just a moment for that quad stretch. So hover your right kneecap above the earth and maybe take your weight back just a little. Yikes. Low lunge, exhale. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, chaturanga if you want it. Remember, holding high plank is always a great option. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Huge breath in. And a big breath out. All right, ladies. Let's flow that one time through. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, forward fold, feet to hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose, sit lower. Exhale, airplane arms, heart high though. Inhale, one leg mountain, left leg. Exhale, figure four, squeeze your heel in. Inhale, one leg mountain. Exhale, crescent lunge, airplane arms. Make it about the right glute and outer hip. Inhale, it's a twist, really gently. Exhale, warrior two, spin it open. Inhale, reverse warrior, drive your left hip forward. Exhale, extended side angle, length through both side bodies. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, high to low plank, straight through, meeting in downward facing dog, however you want to get there. Inhale, wherever you are. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, top of your mat for fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose, strong legs. We're well supported. There we go. Exhale, airplane arms. Inhale, Ekapada Tadasana, right leg. Exhale, figure four. Flare your right toes, protect your knee, please. Inhale, one leg. Exhale, crescent lunge, airplane arms, like you're pressing the back wall away. Inhale, twist. It's just an opening of the heart. Exhale, warrior two, left foot is stable. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side length. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, take it on through. Destination, downward facing dog. Remember, it's your practice, and we're practicing kindness today. What do you need? Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Huge breath in. Open mouth, exhale. Two more. Breathe in. And breathe out. Seal your lips for Ujjayi breath. And exhale through the nose. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, top of your mat. Walk, step, jump, or gentle float. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, chair plane, drinking bird. Hold. Hug your inner thighs together. See if here you can tap into that intention despite the chaos that might be occurring, right? Eyes on the prize, the layman's terms, right? Lift your core up and away. Sit lower if you can. Breathe out. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, crow prep or crow pose. Hands under your shoulders, bend your knees. Hug your elbows towards your midline, and then elbow pits go forward so that we can find a little shelf for the knees. Option to keep your toes on the ground, option to begin playing with the lift. Yeah, nice, Sarah. But you got to really hug the elbows in towards one another like you are actually in a chaturanga, okay? You have 4. We meet in downward facing dog in 3. If you're floating back, please land in low plank. 2, 1. Shoot the feet back. Inhale, upward facing dog. So nice, Jessica. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, forward fold. I'm going to start stepping. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, chair plane. Inhale, one leg mountain, left knee rises. Exhale, figure 4. All right, little bounce. So it's like, it can be a micro pulse, if you're used to that, if you like that, if that's your bag, or it can be a little lower, a little lift, a little lower, a little lift. Now, helping to balance, hands pressed together at your heart. Remember the left inner thigh is working. Remember your left toes are flexed and flared for 4, 3, 2, and 1, hold. All right, I'm going to scoot to the side, to the front. Boom, baby. No. All right, so option to stay here. You can be right up here, okay? Your next option is begin to hinge a little deeper. Maybe forearms come to your left inner calf. Now, if you've got outer hip mobility, you know you're pretty flexible there. You feel pretty warmed up. Take your right elbow pit into the sole of your left foot, and then take your right hand to your shin bone. Next option is to take your left elbow pit to your left lower quad. Maybe you interlace your hands. Maybe you begin to stand for a standing pigeon. Now, your left toes stay super duper flared, and you work to get your heart nice and upright. Now, if you find yourself super rounded, come back to more of a halfway lift or stay in your first part, okay? We want to work the shoulders nice and stacked one day. For 4, wherever you are, you're breathing for 3, 2, back to your figure 4. Do so slowly, super slowly. Figure 4. Whew. Inhale, one leg mountain rise. Exhale, crescent lunge, airplane arms. I'm sweeping it around. Listen here. Inhale, star pose to the left. Whew. Heels in, toes out, arms high. Squeeze your heels towards one another. Exhale, horse goddess pose. Press your knees open. Sit low. Do me a favor, check in with your knees. If they're bowed in a ton, don't come down as low, okay? Protect your knees. Wiggle out just a little. Stack your shoulders over your hips. Make sure your tailbone is not overarching back, yeah? Sassy booty. Sometimes it's cute. Right here, it's going to compromise your low back. So go ahead and take your tailbone down towards the ground. And if your knees if they collapsed in, lift up a little higher, okay? Inner thigh opening, outer hip strengthening, right? It's kind of what we've been doing, right? Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, warrior 2 to the front of the room. Inhale, reverse warrior, condensed flow. Exhale, high to low plank, chaturanga, chaturanga, downward facing dog. Elbows in. Inhale, up dog, press your heart forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Nice cherry. Inhale, chair pose. We're almost done with chair. Exhale, airplane arms. Inhale, one leg mountain, right leg. Exhale, figure 4. All right, you know the drill here. That little pulse or a little lift up and down, right? If you're super swifty, super sculpty, sometimes I am, not all the time. I like to find the beat and kind of jam out, all right? But if you're like, that's okay too. I just want you to think lower, squeeze, and a little lift, release. Lower, squeeze, little lift, release. This is a strengthener for your abductors, your outer hips. Super important to keep you nice and stable, yes, upright, us stable, but also to protect our knees. I'm finding this out the hard way. I had a knee injury, okay? So last 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, stay here. Remember, whatever you do on the other side, give it a shot here. Right toes super flared this time. Left elbow pit, crease. Sorry, it's not super ladylike to say pit, right? I don't know. To the sole of your right foot. Left hand to your right shin. Right elbow crease into the top of your right knee. Interlace your hands. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you begin to lift. Maybe that's halfway with a flat spine. Maybe you draw shoulders over hips, flat spine. Super important here to keep the flare of your right toes. Maybe micro bend your left knee. Recruit the entire left leg. The outer hip, yeah. The inner thigh too, okay? Now slowly but lower back, right? Slowly. Rather than popping out, we do so mindfully just like we entered. Back to your figure four. Inhale, one leg mountain. Exhale, crescent lunge, airplane arms. I'm sweeping it on back. There we go. Inhale, five-pointed star, heels in, toes out. Exhale, Prasarita. Parallel your feet to the edges of your mat. Flat spine, hinge at your hips. All right. You can keep this halfway lift. Make sure your feet are parallel to the edges of your mat or pigeon-toed. The other way could strain the inner knee, could pull a little more in the inner thighs. Just make sure you're being really safe about it, okay? Stay here with your halfway lift, or if you have healthy knees, you can begin to move into Skandasana to the back of your mat. Now, heel up, heel down is your preference, I'm going to say, is your preference. I know if I keep my heel down, my knee gets really mad. So I'm not. And then my toes are going to be pointed to the ceiling. If you feel more and it doesn't hurt, it feels good, you can take your sole of your foot to the earth. I don't feel too much when I do that, so I like my toes high. Hands heart center, hands to the earth. It's up to you here, okay? Your next add-on is going to be to take your right forearm in front of your right shin and then gently draw your left hand towards the sky for a really, really gentle twist, really gentle. Roll your shoulder down your back. Keep your left toes flared. Breathe in. And exhale back to your Skandasana. Inhale, Prasarita with a halfway lift. Just for a moment, reset. Exhale, Skandasana to the front. Bend into your left knee. Wherever variation you took on the first side, move there now, okay? Hands heart center, hands down, foot flat, foot up. Definitely make sure that's the same, okay? Right. And then if you found that add-on, it's going to be left forearm in front of left shin, right arm reaches towards the sky. Gentle rotation of the thoracic spine, not cranking into the lumbar spine or not the sciatic, please no. The S spine. Don't want that. Be kind to yourself, yeah? Breathe in. Exhale, back to your Skandasana. Inhale, Prasarita with a halfway lift. Exhale for depth if you want a little more. Inhale, five-pointed star. Exhale, warrior two. Condensed flow here. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, high to low plank. Remember, it's an option. Elbows into the rib cage. If there's space, begin to modify, please. Inhale, up dog. Press your heart forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Go ahead and come on down to your knees. Big breath in. Nice work. Huge breath out. Water. I need it. Whew. All right. Moving into a quick core session before we get to our peak poses and cool down. So this class was pretty front heavy because we do want certain areas to be nice and engaged and open before we attempt this fun. I think it's really fun. You'll think it's fun too, I promise. But we just want to make sure everything's nice and open. We're used to moving and we're ready to go, okay? And this core will make sure of that as well. Okay, come on down to your back. Figure four crunches, right ankle over left knee. Couple layers here today, okay? You can keep your left foot down, fingers behind your ears, elbows wide. Please, 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 theme of the day, along with kindness, be kind to your knees and flare your toes, please. So your first option is maybe lift your shoulders off the earth, your gaze stays high, and then lower. So that's your first level. Your next level is going to be to take your left foot off the ground, left knee at a 90-degree angle, and crunch and lower, okay? Your next layer, feel free to join me wherever you are. Your left foot comes down, our shoulders are down. Exhale, everything lifts up, and then inhale, everything lowers. Okay, so that's up to you wherever you are. I'm going to find the foot up and the shoulders up and down variation. And think about drawing your heart towards your left knee every time you lift. So we're getting through the right outer hip. We're getting definitely through the abs. Keep your elbows nice and wide. Navel to spine, yes, but lift through the pelvic floor. So the TVA turns on. It's not just working our rec ab, it's working the whole corseted core muscles. Last 4, 3, 2, hold on 1. Wherever you are, hold up, hold up, hold up. Take your left elbow towards your right knee, little twist, little twist. Can you lift your right shoulder off the earth a little more to get deeper into the right oblique? For 4, 3, 2, and 1, release. Unwind your legs. Maybe give yourself just a little neutralizing hug after that one. And then other side, right foot down. Whatever layer you took on the first side, whether it was foot down crunches, knee to 90 crunches, or the full envelope type crunch, meeting everything at the midsection, okay? So this side might feel a little different. You might notice that each time we did a figure 4 that one side's a little more supple, one side's a little more constricted, or vice versa. And that's okay. Just want to be aware of it. Most importantly, be kind to yourself about it so we can foster that equanimity in the future rather than telling our body, why don't you do this? And then the body goes, well, I do you this, right? I don't know if you've ever had a conversation like that with yourself, but I have. We're going to hold up at 4 in 3, 2, hold up, hold up, hold up, right elbow, left knee, little pull, little pull. Exhale, exhale, twist, twist. Can you re-engage your left foot for me? 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, unwind it, ladies, unwind. Full body stretch, full body stretch. We just have 3 of these type of jackknife sit-ups. So how it's going to be their diamond feet, all right? Toes together, arms reach overhead. Now, you have the option to leave your shoulders and head on the mat, and how this will look is navel to spine, low back to the ground, pull your knees open and towards you, and then your forearms touch your inner knees. And then open for inhale, exhale in. If you want more of a jackknife feeling, you can keep your low back on the ground. Exhale, lift your shoulders, lift your head so that your elbows maybe come to your inner knees. And then we open, okay? So my low back does, keep moving with me, ladies. My low back does come off the ground, so I don't lower my feet close to the earth. I'm kind of at a 45-degree angle instead. Give me 2 more. I lied about the 3. Last 2. I'm so sorry. And 1. Full body stretch. I don't know. I always feel my core burn. I don't know if yours is or not. Let me know after. I'm like, ooh, that's how me. All right. Knees into your chest, roll up, feet on the ground. Find yourself in a reverse tabletop. Your fingers point towards your heels, and then press your hips up high. Roll your shoulders under you, and then keep your gaze to the sky for this one. If you do a ton of chaturangas, your shoulders are probably like, what? I highly recommend adding this to every practice. Don't be like me, please do it. All right, from here, we're gonna take this into an L sit. So navel to spine, keep your hands firmly planted into the ground. We're gonna roll onto the heel, slide the booty back, and the booty's lifted off the ground. Wow! Option to grab 2 blocks or books. That's where that's gonna come into handy. It might make a little more anatomical sense when we press up, to swing back if we have more clearance from the ground. So it's an up reverse tabletop, lift through the core, L sit. Oh, maybe one day we lift our feet off the ground. Oh, maybe not. Maybe our quads cramp and then things get a little gnarly. If your quads cramp, take your elbows to your quads, give yourself a little love. Good indicator that we might need to spend some time doing some runner's lunges, quad stretches, okay? All right. Do a couple of those. Everyone's like, no. I am so good. All right, so let's talk about peak pose today. So let's start. We'll start with our layer 1. And remember, layer 1 of the pose is still the pose. We get into this place of, that's not full expression. It doesn't look like that. It's not any good. That's so false. It's so false. It means you're on your way to that full expression. And full expression is an interesting thing. So don't get too caught up in that. If figure 4 through class was something like, yo, I feel super tight all the time. Like it doesn't feel like, I don't feel a connection with it yet. Or we'll find a figure 4 here and you can hang out right here. And this is your pose for today, okay? This is the pose. We're working that hip opening and the squeeze of the heel in for the adduction strength, okay? Your next option, like that standing pigeon we did, is going to be take the elbow creases around the foot and around the knee. And then this might be where you stay, right? If If you were like, yeah, that's okay. Maybe even seated, this might be a little more accessible as well. We're going to start cradling the leg side to side, okay? Remember, right foot stays flared. We're just finding that little movement. So rocking through the right outer hip. We're also trying to make a little space in those muscles right here by doing this, okay? And feel free to stay right here. Your next option is going to be to take the right hand to the right knife edge of your foot. And it's like a little, like a bow and arrow kind of telephone, right? Kick it forward, right foot towards your right ear. Ring, 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 banana phone. And pull it back, okay? And that might be something that you just continue to work on. Your next layer is going to be to take the knife edge of your right foot with your left hand. Your right thumb comes to your right calf. And just like a little bit of a twist. First, we're going to backpack the right knee crease hip to the right shoulder, okay? And so this might be where we stay today. And this is not a normal everyday type thing unless you're an avid yogi, right? So this, don't beat yourself up. This might be where you hang out today, right here. And then take your right hand behind you. Find a 90-degree angle in your right knee. So this is just as much about mobility as it is about strength, because I'm squeezing my right inner thigh and my right calf muscle onto my right shoulder. And this might be where I hang out today, okay? Your next option is going to be to play around with pressing into the ground. Maybe you leave your left heel down and you find a little lift with your left hip. Your next layer, sorry, just flip a little bit. There we go. Is going to be to lift into your elephant pose, okay? So it's like an assisted elephant, right? Maybe one day we lift off completely. Maybe not. So play with that for a moment. And then when you're done having that little bit of time squeezing it in, so think heel squeeze down and lift. All right. And then forward fold, just to reset. So we have, that could crank into the low spine. So make sure your feet are in line, your hips are pointing the same direction. Inhale, reach, maybe bend your knees, maybe not. Exhale, fold forward. Flat spine for that spine neutralization rather than rounding, just for now. And then come on back up. Go ahead, we'll take this with the other side. So remember, figure 4 in forward fold is your first layer, your first option, okay? Kindness for yourself, kindness for others, okay? All right, and then find that layer you did on the other side, taking your time. Well, again, one side might be tighter, and you might need to spend just a little bit longer with it. We're finding that mobility with gentle circles. And eventually we find the knife edge of the left foot with the left hand and pull back, kind of like a bow and arrow. A bow and arrow to a phone, I don't know. And I know my left outer hip is super stuck. I think the fascia is just, it clicks and rolls and it's really very weird. So this side's a little bit more of a challenge, and that's totally fine. I work on it a little more than I do the right side, since the right side's super open. Take your left thumb to your left calf, press up, piggyback the left knee, either on top of the shoulder, that might not be accessible. It might be down at the tricep. Okay, we did a lot of tricep stuff today. So maybe you can anchor that inner thigh with the tricep. Yeah, that squeeze. Heel presses down so that all these inner adductors and inner calves squeeze onto the leg. And I'm going to show you, without it being on the shoulder, it's still accessible. We press up and lift. And that's okay, okay? You can use that strength and that lift of the core instead of having this shoulder to knee lift, okay? And that's okay if your foot stays down. Totally fine, okay? So play with that a little bit for a moment. And then, of course, maybe in a forward fold, we do want to reset after we do that. And I know we're butting up to the end of class. I'm going to get into how to move from elephant trunk to Asavakrasana, which is 8-angled pose. So for those of you who have seen elephant pose before, you've practiced it. It's something that you're like, okay, yeah, seen it. Maybe even not. I've seen people pop into it without knowing, and that's totally fine too. So we're going to move into our elephant pose, and I'll show you from 2 different angles so you can kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like. So here's that elephant, and then a big trick here is to drive the right elbow or the down arm behind you, hand plant as far back as you can get it, so that you might be able to get a little more leeway with the strength of the inner thigh and leg. So we find this elephant L-sit. We take the left ankle over the right, and this might be where I hang out today for my 8-angle pose, okay? Lots of inner thighs. Take your heart forward, forward, forward. Stick your booty back. Squeeze your left elbow in, and then begin to squeeze the left inner thigh around the right bicep, and the right inner thigh comes to the tricep of that arm. Press your legs out, heart forward, and then that's our 8-angle. So it's the beginning of arm surfing. Arm surfing, super fun. We can go into that later. So I'll show you from this side. Forward fold, reset, reset. All right, so piggyback, left hand back, press down, elephant trunk. The right foot's gonna come on top of the left this time. I'm gonna hinge my heart forward, booty back. Left inner thigh is squeezing that left tricep like crazy. And then my right inner thigh meets the bicep. And I press out. And then back up. Forward fold, reset. And then if you use your blocks with that, you'll have a lot more lift. You'll have a lot more clearance to play around. You might feel a little more successful. I know I did it with blocks for years before I could actually do it without, okay? Everyone's like, Hey, Kelly, yeah, girl. Nice, Jessica. Get it, Terry. All right. Couple more moments. We're going to go straight into cool down. We did a lot of standing. We did a lot of balancing. And I think that's pretty intense. That's kind of, first we're going to, before we start on our back, to make a fist, roll it clockwise, roll it counterclockwise. As yogis, we use our hands more than the average bear. So that's even possible, right? We're always here. So it's really important to find those stretches, wrist strengthening, maybe just little curls with weights, stress balls, those kind of things. Maybe hanging from a pull-up bar. I know that sounds horrible, right? Okay, shake it out, shake it out. All right. Like, come on down to your back. One vertebra at a time. Send your legs up the wall. Put a generous bend into your knees. We'll find a supine forward fold. We did a lot just to reset the spine. We'll find a moment of reset, and then we'll have a moment for the hamstrings still, okay? So for this reset, bend your knees. Take your hands to the back line of your legs, your hamstrings. Shoulders, low back, tailbone all to the earth. Pull your knees towards your face as you kick your legs high. So feel your low back meld into the mat, one solid piece with the earth. And if you want to move this into a hamstring stretch, you can begin to straighten your legs, kick up and pull, kick up, press forward, and then pull back. And if you can reach higher on your legs, but your shoulders stay down, you can absolutely grab more shins, ankles, or toes to get that deep hamstring stretch. We want the muscle stretch, not an attachment tendon stretch, okay? So if you feel anything funky in your knees and your sit bones, bend your knees. Nice, gently release knees into your chest, roll side to side. Plant your feet to the ground, taking one set of bridge here. And for this bridge, for every bridge, please, press your low back completely into the floor. So you might need to tilt your pelvis towards the sky a little bit. Find your arms by your side, hands plant to the earth. And then with your low back to the ground, begin to tilt your tailbone up until the back begins to lift off the ground one notch of the spine at a time. Please only look to the sky in your bridge. And then from here, you can find your favorite arm variation. You can leave your hands as they are. Squeeze your outer hips towards one another. Press your feet into the earth and then drag them towards you low so that your hamstrings light up. Yeah? Outer hip, hamstring. Your inner thighs gently hug together, so we've got the whole 360 degree of each leg engaged. Lift your hips 1 inch higher. And then just as we entered, one notch, one vertebra at a time, until your low back flattens to the ground and then your tailbone comes down. Go ahead and find Supta Baddha Konasana, fold the feet together, knees wide, or fallen bridge, knees together, feet wide. One hand to your heart, one to your belly. Either soften your gaze to the tip of your nose or close your eyes. This right here is where kindness starts. Sometimes it's easier to be kind to other people, but if we can be kind to ourselves, even more than half the time, it just emanates from ourselves. This right here is truly amazing, truly beautiful and strong and capable. Slowly begin to wiggle your fingers, your toes, pull your knees into your chest. Take your feet to the edges of your mat and draw both of your knees over to the left side of the room. So your right inner knee likely, it may touch the ground, it may not. Please do not force the inner knee down. Your left outer, it may not touch either. We're just looking for this gentle twist through the mid-spine. If you'd like a little bit of a quad stretch in your right foot is accessible, you can grab the top of your right foot and gently guide your right knee towards the earth. Remember, no forcing the knee down. You can crank into the knee. It's not going to feel good. And gently release your right foot. Draw the soles of your feet back to the ground. Squeeze your knees into your chest. Feet return to the edges of your mat and to the other side. Drop your knees over to the right. If you found your back foot on the other side, and you can find it here, no worries if you can't. Gently grab the top of the foot and gently guide your left inner knee towards the ground. Then inhale, gently guide your knees back up to the ceiling. And then pull together into your heart. Give yourself a big, kind, loving hug. However practice looks today, be kind to yourself about it. It's just where you need to be. When you're ready, release into your surrender, however it looks today. It could be heels in, toes out, legs far apart. It can be legs together. Just like you to get really comfortable here for a brief moment. All the effort you put into class, put that same attention into being still here, allowing the breath to return to an involuntary natural state. And ladies, if you have time in your day to stay right here, please do. Feel free to turn the webcam off and just stay as you are for as long as you'd like. If you'd like to join me, begin to wiggle your fingers and gently move your feet. Begin to draw your feet close together as you reach your arms overhead and stretch yourself out as long as you can with the biggest breath in you've taken all day. Bend your knees, plant your feet to the ground, and roll over to your left side for supported fetal position. Leaving the eyes gently closed, your top hand into the earth. Gently press yourself up to seated. Your easy seat. Hands at heart center if you'd like, or hands on top of your knees. Remember, kindness starts within. Kindness from within is probably one of the harder things to cultivate. But just like your yoga practice, it can be difficult at times, but I know you are strong, you are ferocious, and caring. You can totally be kind to everyone, including yourself. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste. Go ahead and unmute everyone. Give me a moment.